So Roblox released a huge avatar update, and in this one, you are able to have physically simulated avatars, meaning that the characters can react to physics, and I'm going to overview it right now. So as usual, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel, and let's just get into Roblox Studio. But before that, I need to show how to enable the feature, by going into File and Beta Features, and it's going to be right here on the top. The Avatar Join Update. You want to select the checkbox next to it, press on Save Restart Studio, and you're going to have it enabled. And then a really important thing that you need to do is go to the Starter Player, and scroll down to the Character tab. And in this Character tab, you want to select the Avatar Join Upgrade from the default to Enabled. And the first thing I'm going to show is how the physics simulated avatars actually work. So here we have a demo place provided by Roblox, which you can get from scrolling down, and it's going to be right here. And I will be going over the whole Devforum post later. But for now, let's just do a playtest. And the main thing that's going to change is going to be the character itself, where if I go to the workspace and the character, if I for example try to expand the head, it's no longer going to have the motor 6Ds. Here we have a no collision constraint, the animation constraint on the neck, which is a new instance, and the neck ball socket constraint, and also no collision for the second arm too. And it's like that for all of the different body parts that had motor 6Ds. And you can also see that it's very similar to, for example, if you try to make a ragdoll system, where right now you don't need to make all of these different instances yourself. But moving on. Also another thing that's different is if I for example try to move with my character. You can see that it has this little movement even if I stop pressing the button. And this is because of the physics reaction. And you also have these different tools, like for example this sword. And here you can see that it's actually being moved by physics. For example, if I jump, you can see it reacting to the impact of my character falling to the ground, as well as if I just move around. It's just going to swing like the normal Link sword, except with character physics. So yeah, this is pretty neat. Then we have the pistol, and this one is kind of interesting because whenever it shoots, first it's giving an error in the console, and then it's like moving your character because of the impact it has on basically the momentum being sent to the arm. And this is why it's rotating your character like that. But yeah. And also in first person, you are going to see the reaction of the physics on the tools as well. Except this time it's going to only move my character backwards instead of rotating it. And then we have the selfie stick, and this one is going to be kind of hard to operate. So let me just try to maybe like not fall while using it, since I don't know why it's trying to go in like every single direction. But anyways, last we have the grapple hook, and this one is pretty fun. Except I don't fully understand how to use it, but we are just going to have this. And I can for example just swing my character around, except it's just going to fly instead of react to the physics properly. But also this is a great opportunity to showcase another thing, which is going to be a ragdoll, like this. So yeah, now right here on the bottom plane, I'm actually just going to go to the server view. We have two billboards, one saying that this place is uncopy locked and anyone can edit it. And on the other side we have a very old Roblox ad, so props to them. But the more important thing is the information explaining character simulation features. And you have them in the starter player and then the starter character scripts, just like shown on the billboard. But before I go into them, I'm going to showcase the rest of this place. And since this is a sword fight on the heights, we of course need to have a little obby. But what's going to happen if I go into the kill brick? Well, my character is just going to ragdoll. Like that. So that's pretty funny. Oh, and whoops, I feel like my character was doing some kind of a dance while falling, but anyways. So yeah, I can imagine that the same thing is going to happen with these bricks, but I'm just going to chat walk through them. And that's basically everything for this place, so just for the last showcase I'm going to do this. But let's just get into the scripts now, and let's just go on them from the top. So here we have the disable joints when falling, which disables the character's animation constraints, which is a new instance that I'm going to overview from the Devforum to make the body limp when the character is in the falling down state. And here are the states that you disable, as well as the character the humanoid, and the property on break joints on dev set to false, and disabled collision on the humanoid root part. And now for the humanoid died, we basically just disabled the previously shown animation constraints, and also changed the max friction torque on the butt socket constraints as well. And of course the task quite one. Hack, if we don't wait, the joints get disabled and the arms get stuck in weird positions. So yeah, this is something you shouldn't do, but apparently even Roblox devs are struggling. But anyways, last we have a while loop, which has a variable for enable animation constraints, the state of the humanoid, and I'm just going to make things a little little bit more readable, then the condition, then the state with the enabled animation constraints, which was printing out in the output, and then you look through all of the descendants and then enable the animation constraints depending on the condition. And to be exact, the condition is going to be checking if the state of the humanoid, from right here, is the same as one of the provided states from the top. Which basically means that the character is going to ragdoll on the ragdoll falling down, getting up and dead states. And that's all for this script. And now the physics simulated upper body, we have the simulated joints, which are the shoulder, elbow and wrist, and the head, which might flop around too much since it's annoying. And then lastly another for loop, which gets the animation constraints, then sets the should simulate variable, and then checks if the name of the body part has the n string, which is the shoulder, elbow or a wrist. And then sets the should simulate variable to true, basically just depending on that. And then if actually should simulate is true, then it says the properties of the animation constraint, and I think I actually said that this is a part, so my bad, this was supposed to be the animation constraint, that name. But anyways, it sets the is kinematic to false and then the max torque to 700 because it looks cool. Okay, so what would happen if I actually were to enable the neck and for example just try to see how the head is going to flop? Okay, what was going on with my arms? Oh yeah, because they are physically simulated. Hold on. They are going to interact with the world like this. So how do I check if the neck is actually going to be physically simulated? Well, I guess by just breaking my arms like this. I think the flopping might be in the ragdoll state, but I'm not really sure. So yeah, again, this is for that script. And now we have the getting up assistant, which says that there is a strange behavior where the humanoid root part can sink below the surface as you are getting up. And you slide horizontally extremely fast. This script just makes the humanoid root part collide while getting up to push it above the ground. This is hacky but seems to fix the sliding. Yeah, kind of everything seems to be hacky with these scripts, but anyways. So I get the character humanoid and the humanoid root part, and then you connect the stand change function, which has the old state and the new one. And if the new one is set to the getting up state, then you just enable the collision, otherwise you just disable it. So that's pretty simple. And then ragdoll at high speed. Again, character humanoid and humanoid root part, then the speed threshold. Okay, and this one is just really... Okay, this is a little bit better, but you get the humanoid state, then the speed, where you check if the state is not a ragdoll or a dead state, and speed is more than the threshold. And if it is, then you change the humanoid state to the ragdoll and just disable the getting up state. Then if the speed is lower than the threshold, you enable the getting up to true, where again this is pretty simple. And you can see that a lot of this stuff basically just corresponds with each other, where for example the only thing that this script does is change the humanoid state. And this script is what listens to the humanoid get state and then basically enables or disables the animation constraints depending on that. But I'm guessing that this is everything mostly for the demo plays. So let me just get into the Devforum now. And here we have the Studio Beta Avatar Joint upgrade enabling physics simulated characters. And as usual they are free to announce Avatar Joint Upgrade Studio Beta, which is a step in expanding what Roblox avatars can do. And with this update, setting up avatar interactions like the ragdoll effect becomes easier. This update introduces force and torque limited constraints directly into the avatar, allowing you to create realistic, physics-driven movements effortlessly. And overview of the update, where you have the how to enable it, which I've already shown. And once enabled, this feature will replace every motor 6D joint in a span character model with several constraints. And again, this is something that I mentioned, but to go a little bit more into detail, we have the ball socket constraints, which keep the body parts attached and apply core limits during the physics simulation, and a new animation constraint to apply animations on the parts either kinematically like motor 6Ds or physically with force and torques. And you also have the no collision constraints, which are only on certain body parts to improve ragdoll fidelity across different avatar bodies. For example, something that you saw between the arms and the head. And now the key components, where you have animation constraints. And the animation constraint is a new type of constraint designed to replace motor 6Ds with a few key enhancements, like the transform property, which is a C-frame property that allows animating controls via an animator or a local script. And the iskinematic property, which when is set to true, the animation constraints will perfectly align parts to animations without physics influence. In other words, behave the same as motor 6Ds. But when it's set to false, it's going to make it possible for animations to drive physical interactions. And something important to keep note is that if the values specified in the max force or the max torque aren't high enough, character might not fully reach their target poses, enabling more dynamic physics-based animation blending, as shown in this little preview right here. Then the ball socket constraint, which provides a foundation for physics-based interaction, enabling realistic ragdoll effects. The joints default to human-like limits, but they can be fully customized or disabled entirely. And here is an example provided. When a character enters the ragdoll state, it plays a defensive curl animation. And the animation constraints lack the strength to hold the pose, resulting in a natural movement, as you can see right here. And then an example with the IK controls, with a comparison of setting the lookat on before and after the update, where before, it will basically just always rotate the IK source to always look at the target, but now with the new limits, it's not going to basically just break your neck. Then the demo that I showed previously, with the two features that I already went over too. And this is a little bit of a different preview, so hold on. Get started by checking out this place and experimenting with the new capabilities. Did I do something wrong? Hold on, because I basically just downloaded the demo right here, so is this going to be different if I do a playtest? No, wait, it's actually the same. I think Roblox is just clickbaiting us with this video right here on the Devforum post, but anyways. Now this part is going over the phases of the update, where in the phase 1, developers can enable the upgrade in live experiences, and in the phase 2, the upgrade will become the default setting. However, any developer who didn't test the feature in phase 1 can still disable it temporarily if it disrupts their experience. And phase 3, animation constraints will be the standard for all the avatars across Roblox, and now Motor 6Ds will still be supported for legacy content. And like, does all of this mean that the avatars, all of the avatars are going to be physically simulated now? And it's kind of yes and kind of false, because you are going to have the kinematic property that when it's set to true, the animation constraints will behave the same as Motor 6Ds. So yeah, all of the avatars are going to be physically simulated, but only after changing the kinematic property to false. Then they tell you to give feedback on the Devforum post and frequently ask questions and known issues that I recommend that you go over if you are having any troubles with this update. And also R6 is going to be supported in the future. And you have answers to all of these different questions, so you can pause the video if you want to. But yeah, from me it's going to be everything for today. So as usual, leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Also check out my Patreon page. And as usual, I hope everyone had a nice day and see ya guys.